Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. It's Friday, first day of spring. We're broadcasting from Brooklyn via Zoom, practicing social distancing. I'm in my restaurant, Della, on Prospect Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, in the Windsor Terrace section. And today I have my neighbor from across the street, Sylvie Bertrand, who owns Le Paddock. We are coming to you live from the front lines. How are you, Sylvie? You there?
I am here. Thank you. Hi.
Right.
I wish I could wave to you directly, but
there's a McDonald's paper truck in front of us.
But they gave us pizza boxes for the pizza to go, so I'm not.
Yeah, you can't complain.
Yes.
So we're literally across the street from each other, sitting in our windows, about, I don't know, what is it, 40 yards away from each other in our respective restaurants.
Distance, for sure.
Yeah. So bear with us if there's issues with audio, visuals. We're trying some new stuff, everyone. This will all be available via YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, so on and so forth after the show if you're having trouble seeing it right now. But if you'd like to watch live, you could watch on Facebook if you look up Talk Alternative Broadcasting. You can also listen live at talkradio.nyc. We are taking phone calls if you'd like to call in as well. I'll give you that phone number in a moment. It's 212-721-8183. And it'll be a little different for a little while, I think, for a lot of people and a lot of things. I'm going to start with the message of the week. This is more of a sentiment. It's something that I heard as a kid, and it's really been playing through my head a lot now. This could apply to a person, a thing, or in our case, our business. And it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
That's true.
What do you think about that, Sylvie?
I mean, we're hanging there. As you say, it's going to be a different life for a while. And now we've been feeling the love from the community. I'm sure you have to.
Right.
It's a small, Windsor Terrace is a small community. It's not a dense community.
Terrace in the house.
Yeah. And people have been coming by asking, if they could help, emailing us, helping us, buying gift certificate, sending tips for the waiters and all that, so it's been really touched. I've been very touched. We've all been touched by that.
Right.
And it kind of gives, the sense of, okay, we've been here for some years now. And it's of course we belong, to this community, and we're going to do our best, as you do also, to survive this, right? That's going to be the main goal, to survive, so that at the end there we will be again, right? And we won't be gone. So
Right. I mean, there's like, the virus that people are fighting, and then there's like this virus that society is fighting, right? It's like communities, the infrastructure, what's going to be left, because at the moment there's no clear indication of how long this will last for. There's no clear indication for any kind of assistance or lifeline, especially for smaller businesses like yours and mine, that we live on the edge of existence anyways, right? It's like, we're always like, just like a water pipe breaking away from going under, and this is a lot bigger than that.
This is a major flood. Yeah.
We're always on edge, but in a way it's also like we're always kind of in crisis mode, right? I mean, that's how I feel. I just always feel like I wake up every day expecting, just about the worst to happen. And if it doesn't, and we finish the day well, then I'm like, oh, okay, we'll try again tomorrow. But every day I, kind of approach things with that mentality, just so that I'm not surprised. Although I'm surprised right now, a little bit.
It's such an unpredictable business, the restaurant. Yeah. I've been in it for all my life, and I'm used to always having to think, okay, a snowstorm is going to happen, an election is going to happen, this is going to happen, somebody won't show up, the subway not working. There's always something.
Right, there's always something
to make it happen. And then, but this is beyond all that for sure. But in a way, our small business are very well equipped to adapt to this. We're like because we're hustlers, we're survivors, right? To begin with. So that's the plus. I mean, I think we can adjust. We're used to have to adjust to whatever
Right.
is thrown at us, on a daily basis, and be like, okay, how do we go about that now? But at the same time, I feel like, from what I hear about what the kind of help we could use, for sure, that we will need, the help, not from just the people, but
Right.
from the government or from the state.
Yeah.
People, they don't understand what a small business is, in a way.
Right.
They don't have a sense of what it is. And we do live paycheck to paycheck, just like,
right. We're still blue collar workers. It looks nice. Right?
It looks like, we're a restaurant owner and now we're a restaurateur, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm sure you do the same thing. Every week on Sunday, you sit down, you count the money you made that you're going to have in the bank, and you write all the checks, and that's it. You paid everything and you move on to the next week.
And sometimes there's nothing left.
There's nothing left. You have to juggle with like some bills, and I think that everything that comes to us in terms of like help for small business doesn't take that into consideration. So that's a bit disheartening. And I've been doing a lot on my social media about petitions and make people aware of what it is to own a small restaurant.
Yeah.
Just make people aware of what it is. It looks fun, and it is fun, of course.
It is fun.
It's totally, but you have to understand that we are living, like you say, it's like a one broken pipe away from having to close, which is insane.
And now they're all broken.
Right. All the pipes are broken.
Exactly. You said something that really resonates with, I think, just all entrepreneurs too, where you were saying like we're hustlers and we're used to the kind of the chaos and always finding, like, my understanding of entrepreneurship is someone who sees a need, a void, something that people are asking for, people need help with. And entrepreneurs are the ones who are willing to take the risk, not knowing what it exactly is going to be, but just having the confidence, first of all, that they can pull it off, and then being creative, finding the resources to executing it and delivering it. So for us, it's almost like, in a way, it's almost a normal day because there's always something crazy happening, and we just get it from all angles, right? It's like we're getting it from the customer side, we're getting it from the vendor side, we're getting it from the
city side,
I was going to say the federal, the state, and the city side. I mean, it's just and then the natural side too, like you were saying, like whether it's like a snowstorm or a tornado, we're like affected by all of it, but we're kind of used to it in a way as well, where we're always being asked to be more resilient each and every day. And I'm not saying that other occupations don't have that, but I think it's inherent to entrepreneurship and small business ownership. You're just always on the front lines, and you're used to taking strikes. I keep saying now we're going to see, it's a little kickboxing reference too, because I got my kickboxing shirt on, but we're going to see who's got a tough chin now, who can take a good solid punch and continue. This is going to test so many people in ways they never imagined. I mean, I'm feeling it already. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah. And I want to say, you're right to mention that, many other businesses or occupation are going to have, feel the heat, of course, all the nursing, the hospitals, the doctors, anybody who's related in any way to the healthcare is going to feel it.
Oh, crazy.
And then you have people picking up garbage still and doing all the work they have to do. So it's not just, poor us restaurant.
Cops, firemen.
All of that. I mean, the one thing with the restaurants is that we always put a good face on it because that's part of the job.
Yeah, you have to.
You cannot just be like,
that was like the first day of training, right? Leave your emotions at the door, like no matter what's going on.
Resolve the issue, and because that's what you sell, is that good attitude.
Yeah.
So especially people, again, like small business, based only on local support, we're not like a destination. You're not Windsor Terrace is not a destination.
I know.
There's no tourist. It's just us trying to make sure we kind of provided something, as you said, like that provides a need for the community, right? Which we both did in our different ways.
Yeah. And I think, go ahead.
No, I think the plus, just to be like optimist, because I don't want to be all gloomy about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And because of what we do here, I think I'm very confident that no matter what happens, let's say, now we're both doing takeout and delivery stuff, and let's say we're not allowed to do this anymore, or we can't because it's not sustainable. I'm very confident we're going to be able to come back regardless, and that people will be there, because that's the thing. We don't depend on random people to walk by and discover us.
Right.
We just, the people will still be around. They will be, like, I'm assuming, very happy to go at either bar to have a freshly made cocktail served in a regular glass with the right garnish.
I kind of like the plastic cups, though. They're growing on me.
I mean, people will get used to that. You can just drink in plastic cup,
and they get to walk down the street with it. I mean, so you said something else that's really interesting. It's like, people, we sell experiences, we sell food, but, like, first and foremost, we sell a feeling. We sell a certain freedom almost, where when you come in, it's like, okay, now I can relax. I can not think about things. I can sit back and have some food and beverage and enjoy time with somebody, or alone, whatever your pleasure is, and just experience that freedom for a little while. And I think people are going to still want slivers of that. They're going to want shreds of that through this tough time. Like, things are, people are distanced, and people love, especially around here, we know these people, right? They enjoy a good night out and a good drink, and they're not getting that, but people are still craving that sense of normalcy. Yeah. And if they don't completely put the kibosh on all of our operations, for those of you that are listening that aren't aware, we're in Brooklyn, New York, and in New York City, all restaurants are limited to takeout only. So you can come pick your food up, or we can deliver it. The governor and the state has allowed for cocktails to go for the first time, probably in a long, long time. So we can do that, but we have to have minimal staff. You can see Sylvie's chairs are up behind her, up, and you can't have anybody coming in, and you can we're all alone inside, and then the people have to take it and go sit at home and eat it with either their families or just alone. It's a little eerie, it's a little creepy, but at the same time, it is offering people this sense of, like, okay, I still get to participate in some of the things that I did before. It helps us. It gives us, the opportunity to survive, because we all want to be here when this is all over. And you're right. Once things settle back down, people are they're gonna want to get right back to, especially the people that they remember, the people that they have connections to, which are businesses like yours and mine. They're going to want to come right back to that and get back to that sense of normalcy.
Right.
We're going to take a quick little break here, Sylvie. So just stay with us, everybody, and we'll be back in just a few minutes, okay?
Great.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business, right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio. 24 hours a day.
Okay, everybody, we're back. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Your host, Jeremiah Fox, with my guest, Sylvie Bertrand, who owns Le Paddock restaurant, which is directly across the street from my own restaurant, Della, on Prospect Ave in the Windsor Terrace section of Brooklyn. We are doing everything through Zoom. Bear with us. We're trying to work all the bells and whistles out. This is the first time we've done it this way, completely remote. I know the Facebook Live video is not coming up right now. And I don't see Sylvie right now.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. I just don't see you.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Now I see you. Awesome.
And the truck is gone, so we can wave each other. Yeah. Hey.
And I think it's great you have your chairs up. I think we need to be totally transparent and like super real. Like, it's funny, you were saying in the last segment that we always have to sell the experience, and no matter what craziness is going on in our world, we just have to smile. We just have to be like, everything is great. Welcome to our business. We're here to serve you. We're here to make you feel great. And while I think it's really important to maintain our optimism as long as possible, I think now more than ever is also, like you said, it's a time to be real. We just got to be straight up with people, because that's how people work together. You know, that's how relationships work well. So it's like you were saying before, how we have these connections to people and they're long lasting. And I think if we're not getting support from anywhere else, so we really have to foster those relationships. And if we do, and we do manage to weather this, it'll also be better for the end result once we're on the other side.
Like the back of the house is finally revealed, you know, because when we have crazy nights, what we do in the restaurant business, like sometimes I have those really stressful nights. I'm sure you do, and everything is falling apart in the back.
Yeah.
Everything is going wrong, and then but the front, and then you're nervous, but you have to hide it, and then people look at you, and if you share that with, you know, a good customer or a friend, they're like, oh, we would never, it looks great, everything looks perfect, everything is going fine. I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea what's going on in the back.
Exactly.
So now we like, the curtain is done in
Curtain's
a way.
down.
You have to see the back of the house. We're all in this together, you know, and it's showing.
And for us, you know, our kitchen is totally exposed, and I've worked in a number of places like that too. So the curtain's been down for a while in terms of that, but yeah, even more so just when we slap that smile on when it's like totally not sincere,
right?
But just to get through the night, and
you have to maintain it. You have to make an order in the front, right? For the sake.
I think we still have to do that, but I think it's also a really good time to just be clear with people where we're at on a daily basis. I'm trying my best to use social media to do that, and trying to come up with some other clever ways. Unfortunately, like, there's still people walking around. Like, we're not on. So I was describing for everybody in the last segment what the scene is like in New York City, and people aren't on like house arrest yet. You can still go outside freely. You can take the train if you want. You can take the bus. You can still get an Uber. All food stores, as far as I understand, food stores have to be open. Like, even if they wanted to shut down, I don't think they can. I think they're being forced, even the delis and bodegas.
Yeah, they will be. Cuomo just talked before we started, and I think he is doing something that resembles more and more like what they've done in California, where you have to. It's not he's putting in a very, trying not to get people to panic. Yes, stores will be open. Essential workers. I mean, we are still essential workers, actually. Good. Amazing. As far as I know, delivery service are still allowed. Yeah. So
I like being essential. I like that title. That's good.
Yeah.
But the other businesses are all closed down. Like, retail business, right? No retail, like clothing stores and all that. That's all.
I don't know about the wine store. Maybe. I mean, I know he did say like hairdressers, all those businesses that were still open are closed. I think it's really, he has put something that's very basically what has been going on.
At this point, wine stores can still operate. So the unique situation here versus a state like California. All retail wine sales are regulated by the state. Well, all alcohol sales are regulated by the state. So in a state like California, you can sell alcohol in a grocery store.
Right.
You sell anything. You sell Tito's vodka or scotch or wine or beer. And in New York, you can only buy wine and spirits from a private wine
you have
store.
any license. Yeah.
You cannot sell any food out of that establishment, and then any establishment that can sell food can only sell beer. They can't sell wine, and they can't sell spirits. So if they go hardcore non-essential, then and only food stores can be open than liquor stores. But if you do a poll of the community of Windsor Terrace, they would argue that the wine store is essential.
More than the food.
More than the food.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, they're like, we'll get by without greens. Just give me some red wine, please. There's calories, there's antioxidants, there's so many good benefits to it. Yeah. So at the moment, that's not the situation, but all like gyms, like you said, barber shops, like all that stuff, everything else is closed, but there's still people allowed to move around freely. There's still plenty of people in the park. Public transportation is still operating. So people can walk by. I don't know about for you, but I've had a lot more pickup than delivery.
We did way more. And that's really appreciated. I think it really means that people do understand that we will, first of all, they need to get out of their house. I think there's that part of normalcy you were talking about.
Right.
And people are really it's a new normal. It's not normal. They come in and the chairs are still up, it's not normal. Yeah. But to come in and to say hello, and we have this weird arrangement with tables blocking the doorway so people cannot really actually come in. Yeah. And we have those Clark's wipes and everything,
Right.
But,
hand sanitizer everywhere.
Everywhere. That's not normal. But people have been, but I think the idea for us, they know we make more money basically if they come and pick it up, right? Because the delivery through Grubhub.
I've been very open about that.
They take a big cut, and now even though they have waived the fees, it's not true. They have deferred the fees, so we're still going to have to pay for that.
Right. Which doesn't help.
I don't know, but whatever. So if you don't have, because restaurants who don't have their own delivery person use Grubhub as part of the delivery process as well, which costs money,
Yeah.
I think people are aware of that, which is great because we had so many people coming in for takeout. So many, it's been really amazing.
And that's what I was referring to in terms of that transparency. It's like, if you must, sure, use Grubhub. A friend of mine was like, hey, I want to order from you. I have these credits from Grubhub. And I'm like, well, use them. Then put it through. He was like, I want to support you, but I'm like, get your credits, man. Like, do it,
of course.
But if we can be really open and upfront with people, like, this is where things are at. This is what happens. Where before we just had to be like, oh yes, of course we're available on Grubhub. Like, use it. But like, it would be better if you called me. But now we just have to actually be upfront about that and really get hardcore survival mode. I mean, I'm constantly weighing the pros and cons of this whole situation, and one of the pros I think is like people will have a much more intimate understanding of the small business community, the businesses that service them on a regular basis outside of like telecommunications and stuff like that. After all this, and it's something it's the reason why I participated in the opening of the food co-op. Just to bring that intimacy to people, so people understood more what does it really take, because what it takes there, it's the same everywhere else. As far as everybody else is concerned, that's just another store. There's no such thing as a nonprofit grocery store in the United States. You have this special filing you get, but as far as the government's concerned, you're just a store. As far as the vendors are concerned, you're a store. As far as your landlord is concerned,
you have to pay everything. And
right, exactly. We just charge less and we work it out. But I've enjoyed that process of bringing that to the street level, so people get a better understanding of that, and so hopefully across the board, like there's more understanding and more cohesion between the community and businesses, because at the end of the day, we are trying to provide a service. We're trying to fill a void, so if it's really a crapshoot, right? When you open a business, you're like, I got this thing that I do. I'm okay at it. I'm going to put it out to the world and see how they respond. And like, not everything works, right? The things that you thought would be like received with open arms, sometimes people are like, I don't want that. Right. They're like, but if you did this, and you're like, okay, not really my strong point, but you do it. So it's always this negotiation. But I hope people really walk away with a better understanding of that, so that we can do a better job of being entrepreneurs and small business owners, and that the community feels service better.
Yeah, I mean, I get it in a way. I think in New York City, we take restaurant for granted. We take corner, and I do. I mean, it's just part of our lives. So we just always expect them to be there, and we just, unless you own one, I can see how you would just think it's running by itself, and if you come and it looks packed, it's making a lot of money, they don't realize
they're doing great.
I heard that many times, and the fact is, as you are too in your place, and we're with Gregory here, my partner, we're here every night after 8 years. That's because we don't really have the overflow of money coming in to pay managers, for example. And we like to be here, but there's that big thing that people are often not aware. That I think that awareness would be wonderful, but I get it too. I get the fact that small restaurants are such an integral part of New York City, of the community, of what people do, and that's why I'm afraid for all of us, not just me or you or
absolutely.
I'm afraid for the whole industry in New York City that has made New York City so unique that it could, as a whole, not really survive that great, right? I mean, it's going to be hard. A lot of them are closing for good.
Right, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. It's like there's the the health concern of people and weathering this storm and surviving, but what it's going to do to the I have a small fear. No, it's more than a small fear. I have a fear that it's going to decimate the small business community, and there are going to be so many people that just aren't going to be able to regroup from this, especially if there's no alleviation of standard collectibles, rent and sales taxes and just everything you have outstanding, because we operate like most businesses on 30-day terms for a lot of stuff. Right. And it's just, we're relying on that weekly income to just massage that, we're like DJs, the old school style with turntables, right? We're always like, it's funny. I feel that way right now. So my video I'm doing from my phone. I've got my laptop open with email. I'm getting text messages on my phone. I'm getting Facebook messages and trying to man the Facebook page. And it's like, chiba, 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 chiba. And that's a day in the life of a restaurant owner, right? Yeah. Sorry, I lost my track of thought. I was thinking of 1970s New York and how like all these businesses, one of the young guys that works for us, we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, it could go back to like the 70s and early 80s where like you walk down a street and just every business is empty. And he goes, man, what good can come of that? And I said, well, hip hop came out of that. And he was like, and he loves hip hop. And he was like, damn. And I was like, I know, that's kind of where we're at. Like, I feel like personally, if there ain't nothing but a couple sticks left outside when this is all done, I'll roll them together and make something out of it. But going back to what I said at the beginning, like I love what I do. I love all the businesses that I've built and helped build. And I'm prepared for the loss. I'm prepared for that to happen. And I won't have any regrets that I did it if we lose them, but I'm going to work my ass off to keep these places open and just roll up the sleeves in a different way. Again, it's the same obstacles we had before. They just have a different face, right?
Yeah. We will all have to do it, but we will need kind of help and some kind of political will on our side to help us do this, I think, because it could also go the other way where, oh, well, look at this, all those small business are gone and now we can just have chains, of corporate kind of,
I mean, I think
places and
I think places like Windsor Terrace, I mean, they would have been here already if they were going to do that, and they don't stand to win anything. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the devastation looks like afterwards. All right, we're going to take another break, Sylvie. We'll be back with everybody in a few minutes.
I'll place some orders in the meanwhile.
Yeah, go do it.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio, big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm starting to feel like my old self again. This is such a weird beginning. It's such a weird week and beginning to the show. Last week, I did my guest was sick. He was coming back from Vegas, and on Thursday night, he was like, "I'm sick, man," and I was like, "Dude, stay home." And so I did. I went into the station and did the show alone, like sitting at the desk alone for the first time, and we were taking callers. And oh, by the way, you can call in. The number, once again, I can't remember. I'll find it in a few minutes. But it was just such an odd feeling. And you know, just everything else, it keeps just changing and spiraling. And good thing I do jujitsu, because we always talk about this thing called the jujitsu spiral, where you never finish. You never win and you never lose. You just keep going and going. And that's what this feels like. But yeah, I had absolutely no humor at the beginning of the show. And now I feel like my goofy ass old self. So once again, you're listening to Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with my guest, Sylvie Bertrand. The number is 212-721-8183. Call in, ask us questions, give us your testimonials, give us a hard time. So like every day is kind of like this for me since Tuesday, where I wake up in the morning just with knots in my stomach. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What are we going to do?
You've been sleeping, actually? Been sleeping?
Up and down, off and on. I mean, last night was good and the night before, but I almost out of like pure exhaustion. So yesterday, you know, I was at the wine store early in the morning doing reports and packing up cases. People are texting me, hey, can you get me a case? Because it's like the store is really busy. Stuff's getting plucked off the shelves before it even lands. You know, people are opening boxes on the floor and ripping stuff out of it. But there's older people in the neighborhood who are afraid to come in, which they, you know, is totally legit. And to be honest, like, I'm not upset at all that we were asked to close to the public. Like, none of this is, as far as a health concern, is bothering me.
Right.
Like, my utmost priority is people, you know. So people, you know, I've had a few older people that I know very well who are my neighbors. Like, I'm trying to work this out, but they're busy in there. They can't take my phone call. So I'm in there like packing cases up. Then I had to go to the food co-op in the afternoon. We got a delivery there. Same thing. We're trying to get stuff on the shelves and people are pulling it off as soon as we get it up. I was at the restaurant from 4:30 to 9:30 and then back to the wine store to close it up. So by the end of the night, like last night, I was just shot. And I actually slept last night. But I've been waking up just with this sense of like, I have no fucking idea what to do. But as I get out and I see people and I see commerce and I see signs of life and normalcy, then I feel better. Like by the end of the night, I go to bed kind of easy because it's like, okay, we're not all dead, you know,
Right.
and people are still, and then it's also, you know, the conversations I'm having with people like in the street. And you were saying it earlier, how the local support has been super. It's almost like overwhelming, right? There's been a couple
Right.
times where I like wanted to tear up, where I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I didn't know you felt this way, you know?
Right. No, it's very helpful because you know you need to have that for sure. You know the sense that it did matter and you still matter.
Yeah.
But to speak to the health, I mean, also, and I want us to be able to do what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And, so that's why we set this system where people cannot enter. And I felt bad. Like yesterday, I was trying to make sure that no two people would come at the same time into our lobby, and to start to find myself in the police role, almost like, no, you wait outside, you come in. What's your order? Okay, here's your food. You know, you
we had to do that at the food co-op where we were only letting 5 people, workers included, in at a time. So most of the time it left only 2 people shopping, and everybody had to wait outside. And I mean, that's a member owned store. So people, like, they kind of get it, but you could sense people were getting frustrated. But like you go into the grocery stores and there's just like 150 people crowded in the stores here. Yeah. So it's not like, you know, the suburbs where there are these massive stores. There's like tons of people in there. But yeah, at Della, nobody's even interested in really coming in. Like they just stay. I've been propping the door open. I've seen you guys had your door open too. I just leave the door open. And like, it's great because we get fresh air, which is really important.
Oh, it's good because nobody's using the handle too, right?
Yeah, exactly that. And thank God it's like finally starting to show signs of spring. I mean, it's supposed to be 70 later today. So we can do that and be comfortable and not freeze our asses off. But most people are like, they just stay like outside. I've been trying to take a lot of payments over the phone so they don't even have to come in and give me their card. And just really trying to reduce the reduce the friction and the interaction. But like people are like, I'm just going to wait out here. And I like come out and set the bags on the sidewalk. It's like, you know, the worst case before was like, oh, don't put your bag on the subway floor. And like now you were like, it's fine. You can put it on the ground. It's not a problem.
Doesn't matter. Don't touch it. It's going to be interesting to see how we're all going to adapt to what we have to do, you know?
Yeah. And you said something else a moment ago where you were talking about how, when people tell you, you know, how they feel about your business and about your involvement in a community that you hadn't quite heard before, especially from that person. Like, you know, there's those people that, you know, they're like your people and you're like, of course. But when other people are coming up and saying it now, like people I didn't really have a connection with, that's giving me so much more confidence and making me feel better at the end of the day to get up and do it again. And, you know, I was saying at the beginning, like, we have to have that confidence. We have to have that thick skin because we often travel these paths that are not traveled and not well lit. And if you're getting morally defeated, I think that's the beginning of your decline is when it hits the mental. Like our bodies will often adapt and work it out, and you know, we modify. But if you kill the morale, well, what's going to be left? You know, so we need those reminders daily, like.
To keep going in small ways is helping the morale, right? The normalcy, even if it's a whole different type of normalcy.
Yeah. I don't think that's going away.
So that helps because I was way more flipped out Monday. Monday is the day they shut down in on-premise eating at 8:00, right? We all had to close. And that was to me like such a unimaginable thing to prepare for. Like, I'm going to shut down, you know, and I don't know for how long. I mean, we flip out when we close for Thanksgiving Day.
Right. I know exactly.
We know everything that comes the same day every year. And we're always like, oh my God, this is the week we're going to close one day. We're going to make way less money and struggle the week after, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So I was so anxious about it. And, you know, now, I mean, I was even thinking, I'm just going to close down and get out, you know, leave somewhere. And I may still do this. We'll see. But, you know, for now, having to do this has actually been helpful in creating this sense of like, you keep going and to temper the panic, I guess.
Yeah.
But you don't want to veer too much into being complacent either, right? So it's the right balance between the two where you're not panicking, but you're also aware of the real numbers and facts. And
honestly, I like being out in it and seeing it head on. I mean, you and I, like I was saying yesterday, I mean, there are days where I'm in contact with a couple hundred people every day. You know, it's not, I'm not like incubated in my house. I'm out like in multiple businesses,
of course,
you know, exchanging cash. I mean, my hands are, when I used to cook, you know, my hands would always be dry from being in the bleach and washing my hands all the time. But I haven't lived that life for a while. My hands hurt so bad. I put lotion on at night. I'm like, I remember this. And another thing, you know, it's just pulling all my resources. Like I was telling a couple of people yesterday, I worked for this guy. Have you done like primarily takeout operations before? Or is this?
No, I always have done like way more like a bar, restaurant, eating in, taking care of like, you know, hosting, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I ran some places when I was young that did like 50-50 where like it was a busy dining room, but the takeout was such a huge component of the business. And I managed the dining room, but I also at times managed the takeout. But I was like 19 years old, you know, and haven't done it since then. And I remember the guy I worked for then because he opened a bunch of locations. We're still really good friends. And, you know, I used to bitch and moan about it back then. And he would say to me one day, this is going to help you out. I know you don't love this right now. And I was like, that was like 25 years ago. And last night I was like, oh my God, I want to give that guy a hug right now. I can't because of social distancing, but it was so true. It's just like making me, you know, pull up memories and skills that I had long since kind of put aside, just to clip another day, you know, just to turn the key like one more day.
You have to create a whole new system for it, right? I was here with Gregory. We're both together because we've been doing it ourselves because we can't afford to have anybody else. So we have 2 cooks.
Forget about money right now, right? I mean,
money is just about just not losing too much money so that when we come on the other side of it, it's easier to be there, right? And we're both doing it, and we were both like, we had no system, and it was just like people, you know, it was kind of funny, but also very stressful to deal with this whole new way of doing business.
Right now I'm doing it alone. I've got my 2 cooks here. And, you know, one of them is always available to just run a delivery right here. If it's just super local, I can just send them out. But for the last 2 nights, I've been answering the phones. We actually made it. I've been making like 25 drinks a night. So I'm answering the phones. I'm bagging everything up. I am the system and I'm bartending. And then people are like walking by and wanting to talk like, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, hi, how are you? You know, like I got so much going on. I mean, I love that kind of cacophony anyways, but again, it goes back to like all the different things that I've had to do in the industry, you know, that I hated at the time, but it tested me in a way that now it's like, okay, I can do that and continue to be like the owner and, you know, deal with that stuff. But for us, we're really just, you know, trying to leave a little bit of money in the bank for when this is all done, because we have to, you know, if we're going to open back up, it's not free. First day is not free, right? You got to put all that cash up front. Right. But to take care of the guys that, I mean, my two main, my chef and my sous chef, they've been with us since day 0, you know, and they don't have a backup, you know, they don't have anything else to go to. And they're like they're my fire right now. They're my motivation. And they, you know, both of them grew up in really, really dire circumstances. So for them, I'm like, oh, this is nothing. And I'm just like, God, I love your just enthusiasm. Cause I'm like fighting to, you know, I'm like talking myself off the bridge basically every morning. Cause it would be.
What's something else that we have to take, you know, as small business owner, we have, you know, some employees that totally depend on that business.
Absolutely.
For the, you know, as we are going, you know, we live paycheck to paycheck as owners, and for small business, that really is the truth. It's of course even more so for everybody who works, you know, in the kitchen. And these guys are going to really struggle. I mean, that's why I'm so worried about that industry. I want that industry to survive, is that I know so many people who depends on it. I mean, they're amazing at it too. You know, that's their skill. Their skill, chef and cooks and dishwasher. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're really good at it.
Yeah.
And you want those business to be around and to stick around, or to be around on the other side if you have to all shut down, so that they can, you know.
All right, we're going to take one more short break. We'll be back in a few. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
I don't see you anymore, but I see you on the
I'm hiding.
Oh, there you are.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, you're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with Sylvie Bertrand, owner of Le Paddock. And we're trying to figure this shit out, right?
Every day we wake up and think, okay, what can I do today to kind of help us, us meaning all of us, or us, Le Paddock, or the wait staff, or the cooks, or, anything.
Everybody.
Help my bank account.
So what I've been saying to people, because people are like, man, I'm going to come in, I'm going to support you, we'll buy dinner once a week. And I'm like, great. I love your enthusiasm. And I'm just trying to be very clear with everybody and saying, what I want you to do is pick the 5 businesses you love the most in this neighborhood and patronize them a little throughout this whole time, and tell your 5 closest friends to do the same thing. Because that's how, if we have to do this alone, I'm expecting nothing, to be honest. Like, they're like, oh, you can go to 0% interest loan. I'm like, that's not going to help. I'll be paying it off for 5 years. I won't make any money. And by that point, shit, there could be another one of these crises. And then we're like, no.
That's the best example of how the help that's coming from above,
exactly.
not realistic at all. It's like, here's money for you to pay your employees who are your close. And then when you open again, if you do, you have to pay that back. So that means you have double payroll when you're reopened.
Exactly.
And we can barely make one payroll as it is. Otherwise, I would pay everybody double already. It's like, this is not logical. So that's frustrating for sure.
Yeah. So that's been my conversation with people, just to be clear on how, I'm like, basically pick what you want to be around when this is all done.
And almost though like a survival show.
It is. This is totally survival. That's the thing that we have to be clear about. Is like, this isn't so like you and I make money, because that's gone.
That's a given.
Right?
That's not going to happen.
No, that's but as restaurant owners, like, we're used to going 3 months without making money. That definitely happens at times. But this is like what you want to see around here when this is all done. Like, you need to pick those businesses. And I say to people, like, if you don't have the means, if you're a freelancer or whatever, and you just lost like all your work for 6 months, stay at home. Don't patronize us. Like, we don't need you to suffer for us to survive. It's not about that. But there are people that are situated in a way that could, and they can tell their friends who are situated in a way that could. And it's like, it's really on, it's not 100% on them, because I don't want people to walk around with that pressure. And that's what I've tried to convey, is like, don't try to carry the weight of all this on your shoulders. Like, that's because you're going to burn out, that's going to get exhausted and boring soon, like that. You don't want that. We need to, I think, diversifying a little bit. It's like the Ray Dalio approach. Do you know Ray Dalio? Are you familiar with him?
No.
He's a very interesting thinker. You should check up on him. Yeah. He's got some he's like a, I guess hedge fund guy or something like that. But he's got an interesting approach. And I listen to the stuff he says from time to time, but he's always about like spreading it around. You have to have like super stable things. And then you can play a little bit, because something's going to come and go. Like, I'd love to hear what he's saying right now, because
you should invite him to your show for next week.
Ray, you got to have like $1 billion to get in a room with him. Not going to happen. I got 1 billion loves, Ray. What about that? I got 1 billion hearts.
So, hear you.
Yeah. What else do you want to share with, a lot of people, especially in this community, will hear this. What else do you want to say? What's on your mind?
I want everybody to stay safe, of course. And I know that people are working remotely, and I'm so happy for them. And they're, as you were saying, people who, don't have a job now should just, they're struggling and surviving, trying to find a way to make a living.
In fact, I will make you some food if it's that bad. Like, I want to, if there's a way to help people as well.
We'll see how we can. We'll see what we can do eventually. Yeah. I want people to be aware of a small business in general, and you're going to see across your social media some petition. I know they're not. We don't know if it's going to work. Any petition may work or not, but I think, like you were saying earlier, like creating awareness of the world we are in, in terms of small business. And, holding the curtain and being transparent about what it is that we have to do to survive can only be helpful. And, if there's any kind of more awareness of that, I would really appreciate that, because maybe it will change the way the big shots are thinking about how to help us. I doubt it, but it cannot.
No, I'm not relying on that.
But, not holding my breath, that's for sure, because I'll be dead before.
Right. I'm thinking more in a way of how can we help ourselves? How can we help each other? Because there is where we might not be able to, change oil prices or fix the environment. There are a lot of things we can do more at the local level. One of the reasons why you open your own business is to, you play a little part in your own destiny, right? And this is no different. We're just folding more people. I did speak to a lawyer yesterday who is participating in, he's been a tenants' rights activist and lawyer for many, many decades. And he's participating in a town hall today, a virtual town hall. They're addressing first private property owners. Like if you live in your home, mortgage, not forgiveness, like, oh, you don't have to pay your mortgage.
No, they're waived for 3 months, I think.
Yeah, delaying it.
That's great.
And then the next attack would be for renters, and they're trying to fold in something for business owners as well in that time. But it seems like people that own buildings, they're not going to be messed with. If like you own a building, but you just rent everything out, that the moment there's nothing on the table. So that would apply to anybody that rents an apartment in a building that your landlord doesn't live in. If it's not like a private home and you live there and your landlord rents half of it to you or whatever. And then of course, all commercial, there's been no talk of any sort of kind of relief on that regard, but it's early. I mean, the one thing I know we can't do is panic and start making heavy decisions now, heavy commitments, because nobody knows. Nobody knows what the hell.
And we're just trying to. We're so. I mean, I don't know about you, but we're so caught up since Monday in just the basic survival of doing what we need to do. Like it takes the whole day just to stay informed, read the news, read all the emails, resources, look for resources, talk to your whole staff, talk to people around you, and then open for business and try to do everything
right. And smile.
It's really, I'm still just basically at that survival level still. I think it's only been 4 days. Right. And also the uncertainty is really, difficult because you can't really plan anything in a way. Who knows? Yeah. I'm not going to order tons and tons of food if I don't know for sure that I'm going to do delivery for the next, So, I mean, we're using the dry goods we have and selling the wine we have. And for now. So, it's really basic still, and hopefully within a few days we'll know more, and then we can start to think more as a community what can be done.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to assess things in 5-day increments. and see how the flow is going. I'm like, okay, I'll give it 5 days. And if after that 5 days, it's like, okay, we can keep going, I'll give it 5 more. And if there's a point where it's just like, this isn't working, or where the government says you must stop, then obviously we'll assess then and see, what.
I think New York City won't be the only city on the planet where at the
you can still get a pizza.
Pizza will still be considered essential services. It's not,
Bensonhurst, where are you at? We need you to be like, what the fuck, man? Can I get a pie? Seriously, get out the baseball bats, guys. Yeah, man, it's time to do it.
It's not just pizza; it's everything. I'm talking about pizza.
I know.
We have some. It's not. It's the basic. New Yorkers have small kitchen. They have small cupboards. Most of them don't know how to really cook that great, and it's cramped. Families are cramped, and they just gonna need to have that essential service.
So we're gonna have to wrap up. Can you tell people how they can contact your business for some food real quick before we close out?
Well, you can call us at oh my god,
you don't know the phone number?
718. I'm not sure. I don't know my phone number. thepaddockbrooklyn.com is the website. You can buy a gift certificate there if you want to. You can follow us on social media. Every day we post the new thing we're doing. If there's something new, we prefer call in for takeout orders. It's more for us, and we're doing our best, and we love the support we've been getting, and it's giving us a lot of hope, considering the situation. So we really appreciate it.
Well, I've always enjoyed seeing you. Never before have I wanted to see you more.
I know.
I want to see you every day. I want to pass by you, because that's that sign of life. So hopefully, we'll probably see each other in a minute. It's
I'm
weird
sure.
doing this from
Yeah,
across
we
the
can
street,
talk like live on each sidewalk. But thank you for inviting me and the paddock. And it's a great moment for us.
I really appreciate you, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Good luck.
Enjoy your weekend. Stay healthy. Stay safe. This will be the norm for now. Stay tuned for more. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Peace out.
Bye.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com. Talking Alternative.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.